Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Austin by Starlight, episode 10. And last we left off, our coterie had experienced some rather interesting things, interactions between each other that could have been predictable or maybe chaotic. It's hard to know with these kindred. A couple of them being Malkavians, one being a Ventru, one being a Nosferatu, and the other a Tremere. It's bound to bring up some kind of issues. But the issues that cropped up were of more of a personal nature than perhaps should have been, shall we say. And having borne witness to this, Gregor, you were in the room when a flippant comment was made, and the entire house went on edge. What do you think about what happened?
An interesting detail, to say the least. Yes, by far and large, I find that the private matters of our lives, perhaps other lives, are the most vulnerable aspects of us. I understood that this put me in a very advantageous position, but part of me does not want to take advantage or exploit the circumstances without warrant, of course. No. In fact, Madame LaCroix and I share a lot in common. I too have family, rather dear to me, back in San Antonio. The fact that things transpired the way they did, I do not believe myself would be any lesser of a beast in any circumstance. However, maybe it's that same disposition, that same emotion. I want to show right by Madame LaCroix. She's a butterfly in which the bat of her wings can send a storm. As Ventru, everything rises. Perhaps as LaCroix, everything will fall. But I want to prop up this aspect. I want to see where it will. And in such, and in good faith, I will keep it to myself during the times of our, how does she put it? Contracts. Yes. Hospitality is gained, hospitality is owed.
Until such a time that it isn't. And perhaps that's a little nugget that you'll tuck away for an appropriate time. But it wasn't you who angered Miss LaCroix. No, it was another by the name of Alistair Knight. Mr. Knight, you have since ventured off into the rest of the night to pursue your own gains. Whether that's to bring about some form of revenge, whether that's education, like you delude yourself into thinking, or if it's something else that you pursue. Why don't you give us a little bit of insight into the mind of this professor?
Hmm. Tonight, I made an innocent comment. Something that I did not know would anger her. I did not think it a secret. Had I known, Tremere are known for secrets. We know the power of them, we know to keep them. But I'm not a mind reader. I made the mistake of putting some amount of trust in Miss Yvette. That won't happen again. We'll have to take steps to make sure that this never happens again, or she'll be the death of us.
Here's hoping not. And then Yvette, the victim of such a flippant comment. Alistair Knight did not seem to care about the fact that this was a personal matter. A personal matter which you had not really given any permission for him to so recklessly divulge to Mr. Gregor Douglas. It angered you something fierce, didn't it?
We. I find myself at this unfortunate crossroad. I would have suspected at some point I would have tried to end up smoothing things over. I was not expecting, however, to Dale and Chris are important to me. They are my hurt. They are my masquerade. They are the choice I have made. And this Monsieur Knight has decided that, well, it can be discussed openly. I have, at every opportunity, showcased discretion in the personal matters of each coterie, each member of it. I have not told the secret of Mademoiselle Pax. I have not opened up discussion the wants of Monsieur Douglas. I have maintained a safe distance with Mademoiselle Deja. And even for Monsieur, when I knew that his sister was hospitalized, I have never made mention of that to the coterie, nor have I brought it up, but I have gone in to look after him and ask him on how she was doing. I was trusting that this would end up serving as example. Instead, right in front of Monsieur Douglas, a individual who is only new to the city, who comes in from who is not of clan nor coterie, who is, well, a gentleman through and through, and that of taste, is still Nosferatu. If anything, I would suspect a Tremere to understand the nature of secrecy, state what is only required and nothing more. I did not sell out Monsieur Stoneford, who has attacked me openly. I have made no mention of such things, nor do I end up bearing to repeat them. I do not belabor the point over and over again with my coterie. These are insignificant thoughts, not worth mentioning more than once. Those who must know will be known. Those who do not. At what point has this information benefit the coterie? I have chosen to end up revealing to the Nosferatu my line, as I know it will not be held secret very long. So rather than wait for the truth to come out, I have leveraged that truth to end up gaining a foothold, not only amongst the Nosferatu for myself, but for the coterie. Even now, I still continue to end up considering the position of this coterie and how it may be benefited, including Monsieur Knight. Because I have made my stance very clear. If anything were to happen to Dale or Chris, anyone who is mortal and attached to more, I will take it in and then make an example of the perpetrator. I will not tolerate such insults. And my business is to be discussed in private, as I have given that courtesy to each and every person I have crossed paths with. At this exact moment, I am unsure as to what to do. I do not wish for further escalation, not on the basis of hoping Monsieur Knight will forgive me. I will not toss myself below his feet to end up groveling for forgiveness. I meant what I said. But at this point, escalating it further damages this coterie and our standing amongst the city. That is unacceptable as well. So we will see what Monsieur Knight has to say. We will see what Monsieur Douglas will end up revealing to the Nosferatu. And well, I look forward to the earful I will receive from Mademoiselle Pax in the near future.
Ah, yes, Miss Pax. Lovely Malkavian and possibly just as stubborn as every other member of her coterie. As she is not one who takes insubordination very lightly. Do you, Miss Pax? Speaking of insubordination, you were on a bit of a macabre job for the dawn, weren't you? Earlier this evening?
Look, Don Hernandez asks me for something, I deliver. It's what I do. It's part of my job. It's part of how I make myself useful. At the same time, it leaves the coterie down a member while I'm busy. And with what we're doing, looking after Mr. Douglas, and after everything with Mr. Stoneford, I'm a little on edge about leaving them overnight. So I'm gonna get this job done, get it complete, come back, and hope to God that the house hasn't been burnt down. The job that I got given, well, let's just say man is on his second chance. And after the second chance, you don't get a third. Second chance, you lose a few fingers, you lose a few toes, maybe a few other little bits and pieces of your body. And if you still fuck up, well, you lose a lot more. And this fella we dealt with before. I didn't just deal with him before, the whole coterie dealt with him before. So now I've left Matt with several less fingers, several less toes, and a bit less blood in his body. And hopefully, I don't have to see his face again. Because next time won't end well for him. Not at all.
Oh, but he's thin blood. He'll manage. He'll manage, right?
He's got to manage. We all got to manage.
Gotta figure it out somehow. But Pax, you make your way back to the coterie house, hopefully to find that it is not, in fact, burnt down, thankfully. But you find that most of your coterie, if not all members, actually, all members are out at the moment.
Huh. I check through my phone to make sure there's no messages from them.
Would anyone have left a message for Miss Pax?
Oui. I will have left a message explaining that I will be accompanying Monsieur Douglas on what is merely described as errands, and more appropriately would not have used Monsieur Douglas's name, but would have alluded to
him, yes. The guest.
Taking the guests on errands. Okay. Well, I guess I'm to assume that Deja and Alistair are with her.
One could assume.
Shoot her a message back saying, fair enough. Let me know if you need a hand. And then I set about cleaning up Deja's mess. Good God, the girl can do some good handiwork, but she leaves a mess.
Dirt tracked all the way through the house from digging underneath the house. How in the world it all got up here? Nobody could guess.
Boots, that's how.
Very likely. Do you reach out to any other member of your coterie?
She's gonna send a similar message to the others, saying, home, let me know. Let me know if you need.
I would text back. We'll be arriving home shortly.
We'll see you then.
All right. Not too terribly long later, you also get a message from Deja saying that she's out at the farm making some arrangements, getting some things more or less settled when it comes to some of the tidying up that maybe needs to happen there. But shortly after that, Alistair, you do hear his car pulling up.
She sets aside the broom and the mop and just waits, I guess.
Alistair, I would come in, probably go to. I'm assuming we have a favorite armchair that he sits in that probably has books piled all around it. And he would just sit there pinching the bridge of his nose.
Well, good evening to you too.
Oh, Pax, I apologize. It has been a long night.
Something on your mind?
Hmm. Something happened earlier tonight that was regrettable.
Pax steps away from the broom and the mop and makes her way in and takes a seat. Or don't let me stop you.
As you know, I'm a Tremere. I know the power of secrets. Tonight I divulged something that I did not know was a secret. And there was an escalation that I find ridiculous. I can understand the reasoning behind it logically, but it was too much of a jump in my opinion. As me and you have dealt before, you know, if I'm not above saying acknowledging that when I make a mistake and owning up to it. But it's all in how it is dealt with. I do have quite a bit of a temper, and I am a stubborn man. Tonight, I made an offhand remark, a joke, about Yvette. How we cannot call her Miss LaCroix for much longer, in front of Gregor. I didn't understand that this was a secret. I thought it was an open relationship, that it was not clandestine. And this angered her.
You didn't realize that her personal relationship was not clandestine. Can I? I'm sorry. I understand you didn't come from this life originally. So I
Yeah,
gotta reset my thinking for you. Because this is not the first time that we've had discussion about secrets and speaking about them to people that aren't really involved. Right.
of course. As I said, I did not know this was a secret. But
Okay.
the escalation is what bothers me.
What was the escalation? What happened?
I'll go through the whole story of everything that happened with from the argument starting, getting pinned to the table with a gun in my mouth, and threats to kill me and my attempts to defend and attack back. I won't say defend myself because it was mutual battle at that point.
The more you talk, the more the look on Pax's face seems to darken a bit. And she kind of leans forward and on her, resting her elbows on her knees and her chin on her hands. You don't see what you did wrong.
No, as I said, I understand now, in hindsight, where I made my mistake.
So you understand why she reacted how she did.
I understand why she was upset. I do not understand why she reacted the way she did. There's acceptable things.
So when you got people that are close to you in this life, you try and keep them as far away as you possibly can, right? You keep them out of sight, out of mind of those that could potentially hurt you.
Stands to
right?
reason.
So, like for example, your family, you wouldn't want them directly involved with us, or say a stranger from another city.
As I said, I understand where I fucked up.
Okay. So, in Yvette's case, she's got this situation going where she got caught. So it's out in the open now whether she likes it or not, but that doesn't mean that we have to talk about it, particularly to people who aren't directly involved. There's this position now that there's an unknown Mr. Douglas. We know shit all about him. Fuck, I don't trust him. Do you?
As I said, in hindsight, no. I realize my mistake.
Right, right. You made yourself a threat. You understand that you made yourself a threat to her and her existence and the people that she cares about. And given that her only option is to get violent to get the point across, because you get stubborn and you don't listen.
That's the thing. Me and you are talking right now, and I freely acknowledge of my mistakes.
I know you did,
If that
but
had been her approach, things would be completely fine right now.
and that's easier to say after the fact. Are you gonna sit here and tell me you didn't get heated in the moment either? I mean, when we're dealing with the beast and all, we're not
No,
always thinking with a clear head.
no. I will admit that I raised my voice back and I wanted to have a simple discussion with her when I called her into my study. I simply
So,
wanted to understand where the malice was coming from that she was showing me. I do not mind acknowledging that I fucked up. I don't mind making amends or admitting that I am not. I'll be frank. I am a professor. I'm not a mob boss. I am not a bodyguard. I am not a farmer. I am not used to dealing with this. I'm used to the free flow of ideas and teaching people. This is all new to me, and I am trying.
I understand that. So, what you also need to understand is that we are also trying.
Yes,
You're a teacher. We're trying to teach the teacher. See how complicated that can get?
very much.
So, you talked about making amends, admitting that you were wrong and all that, making amends. How do you, I gotta ask, how do you intend on making amends?
Well, I'm not sure that is possible at the moment. I do not know our standing. As it left, we were quite hostile to each other. I don't know.
Understandably.
We will have to see. I will figure out something if things can be agreeable.
All right. Just something to be learned from when it comes to personal relationships. We don't talk about that with people outside the situation.
That is noted now.
Anything you get told, you keep it close to the chest unless you have to use it. Because that gets people killed.
Yes. The most sobering fact is when she's threatened my family.
That's how she feels about what you've just done to her.
Yes.
The only
I won't put them
response.
in danger, and I won't.
See, in my eyes, and probably in Yvette's too, putting your family on the same line as hers is the only appropriate response. She probably feels just as betrayed as you do right now. Bit of food for thought.
Yes. In part ways, I regret my actions, but when someone tries to force me into something, I've
Bitch
had that
needs
done to
put in
me
her
all my
place.
life. I
Bitch needs put in her place.
that may be, but
Did he say that out loud?
he's
What hunger are you at, my friend?
It
Because that might
may
affect it.
be when he said it may be, and he just started looking distracted.
I'm at hunger one because I remember I went and
That's true. You did feed.
yeah.
Composure subterfuge versus Pax's wits insight.
This should
Just
be
to
good.
see if she can tell you're a little distracted by some errant thoughts. Well, we don't know what his role is yet.
The roll today. Oh damn!
Meets it beats.
She would be the attacker in this,
She would.
right?
Yep. You see him almost whinge away a thought before continuing to speak. Very subtly, but it's there. You've had errant thoughts that you've had to whinge away too.
Got a little something on your mind there, Alistair. Maybe something that really shouldn't be there.
You know how things are. There is a constant fight in between trying to keep control of yourself. I will not let things control me any more than I used to be controlled when I was young. That is a thing with me. It may come to the detriment of myself at some point, but
Yeah. I will not let anything control me. That could be a problem. Depending on how you look at the world, everything controls you. Your emotions, external factors, your family, your friends, coterie. And in this case, Sometimes you gotta give in to that control. I think it's in both yours and Yvette's nature to be controlling. Don't you think?
I could see that.
So how do you combat two natures that are exactly the same?
That's where I'm at a loss. I do not simply wish to roll over, but I do not wish to escalate things.
Well, something's gotta give somewhere.
Hmm.
One of the things that I learned early on when the Dawn took me in was how to follow instructions. Sometimes following instructions and choosing to do so is better than arguing the point. It gives you your own sense of control because you choose to shut your face. You choose your battles. You choose what you're following. Maybe that's a lesson you need to learn.
That could be a
Controlled
hard lesson.
controlled following. Letting someone else take the lead. Yvette's done that with me a few times if you haven't noticed.
I have no problem with that. I follow your lead all the time, but. Hmm.
Something to think about. If someone controlling the situation is going to get under your skin, is that going to cause problems? And how do we combat that?
I don't think it's just the controlling of the situation, it's the forced compliance.
Or what else can you do when somebody won't bow?
That's the thing. I don't know.
So choose to comply. Make something of it. We're all stubborn assholes here.
I'm beginning to see that.
So if this shit is gonna work, gotta find a way to work with each other. And right now, fighting amongst ourselves is probably the worst possible thing we could be doing.
I don't think I won't have a problem working with her professionally. Above all, she is a professional. After she regains her composure, I'm sure we can at least be civil. But,
So don't make it personal.
yes, I'll have to try to figure out the amends. But, I don't know, this is a lot to think about.
Yeah, you're telling me. I got other things on my mind as well.
I'm sorry to add to your burdens.
Nah, I'm used to it.
Is there
Part of the
anything?
Malkavian curse. Everything is happening at once. Every angle.
Is there anything I can do to help you?
What do you think of Mr. Douglas?
Mr. Douglas.
Yeah, what's your take on him?
Civil, cordial, pleasant enough personality, but there's no real way to read his inner thoughts. It's easy to kind of see where his loyalties lie.
Is it?
He's spoken in length about how his sire, he is preparing for them. I think that's the most important thing to him right now. I don't know if he could be trusted or not. It depends on what he stands to gain with his how do I say this? With his ties.
Well, he's clearly got something to gain, otherwise I wouldn't be here.
Yes. I
I'm
don't know
wondering.
if they would throw us under the bus if they given the chance to advance. But
Yeah. I'm concerned, Alistair. I'm really, really concerned. After everything with Mr. Stoneford,
something's
Mr.
fishy.
S- Mr. Douglas seems too cordial, too controlled.
Oh, you know the old saying, you hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. I think that's the smartest thing we can do right now.
What's the worst in this situation as far as you can see?
That this whole meeting is a trap in some way.
For who?
That depends on who's going to spring it. I could see the targets being either Mr. Douglas's sire or Don Hernandez, or someone else could be perhaps using this to instigate conflict between the barony and parties involved. At least those are the only logical things that I can come up with.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought too. Ah, I'm all in my head about this. I don't like it.
The only logical thing we can do is lock down the meeting site, make sure nothing gets in or out, and ensure that the meeting goes smoothly. Make sure that no one has the upper hand.
Nah, it's not making sure that no one has the upper hand. It's making sure that we have the upper hand.
Well, yes, you know what I mean. I make sure that they are not one up on us is how I should have said it.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Yes. We don't have enough information.
I've got plenty of information. It's just one little piece.
One thing I've learned as a professor is you can never have enough information. Everything is important.
You can't have enough information. You can even have too much information. Sometimes it's better to have no information at all.
And that we may have to agree to disagree. But I can see where you're coming from.
Well, you come from academics, and I come from real life.
Practicality.
That's exactly right. Each has their own correct position. Each is useful in its own way.
ST,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see if I can make a roll.
Regarding what?
Alistair wants to put together all the information he has in his head and see if he's missing anything obvious. Is that a possible thing? Because he is smarter than I am.
He is indeed. I'm. In order for me to kind of understand what direction you're going in, as far as what you think you might be missing, I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need an idea of where you think you're going with this.
I want to know, like, where I'm going with it is who stands to gain what should the meeting succeed, fail, or be discovered.
That's an
To
intelligence
identify
politics.
to identify the possible players, as it were.
Yeah, intelligence politics.
Can I give him an assistance with this, considering the conversation topic?
Yeah, you're kind of discussing it back and forth, and if he's being kind of spitballing ideas, then yeah, you can assist.
Beautiful.
So long as you're agreeing to spitball ideas and you know the same information from each other.
It's only the two of us. There's no threat of secrets. Alistair would be in full, just like hand steepled, running through his things in his head.
Out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a verbal chess game happening.
Yeah.
He's just word vomiting. It's fine.
Oof.
Oof.
You know what? We're gonna have to rest, and I'll get some willpower back. I have to willpower this. Just please, nobody piss me off in the meantime.
You're asking a lot, Mr. Knight. You're asking a lot of me. Just putting that out there.
Alright, so that is 4 successes.
So you're specifically wanting to kind of put pieces together as to who the players are regarding this meeting and how things stand to benefit someone, whichever direction it goes. So you're kind of webbing the ideas. Okay. So the people that you know are involved are Don Hernandez and this sire of Gregor, Mr. Lucio de la Rosa. I see you mouthing the name over there. Shut up. Sorry. I got distracted.
Specs is in no way just giggling and uncontrollably.
Of course. So, these two people are involved in this meeting directly. Your coterie is involved in this meeting directly, as you all have been asked to escort Gregor and or assist him in all of the preparations necessary to facilitate this meeting.
Who asked us to do this?
The Don Hernandez.
Okay.
Yes. By way of Pax, but yes. So, Pax is a little bit more direct than the rest of you because she's been directly asked. But you all have more or less become a coterie because you all kind of need each other for one reason or another. Deja is directly involved because it is being held on her farm. Indirectly, you know that there are suspicions that Baron Kane would have an opposition to this deal. It stands to reason that Baron Santos might also have an opposition to this meeting as well. What this meeting is about, you're not certain. But you can draw a conclusion that since it involves the Dawn and it involves Nosferatu, it involves something of secrecy.
Okay.
Because the Dawn's business is all about illicit everything, illicit product of all kinds. So there's some kind of secrecy going on here. Some kind of something that needs to be kept secret. What that is, you don't know as of yet. But I'm sure you have your suspicions. As a result, the people who would stand to gain from this meeting going along successfully, without interruptions, without a hitch, would be the Dawn and Mr. De La Rosa. And if Mr. De La Rosa is as much of a dignitary from San Antonio as Gregor claims that he is, then San Antonio stands to gain from this agreement. Now, the people who stand to lose as a result of this could be that the Barons are losing out on an opportunity. Could be that the Dawn is planning something of a independent nature that doesn't involve them. Shouldn't involve them. Or he's planning something malicious. You don't know 100% for sure. This meeting goes badly for De La Rosa and the Dawn. Obviously, both of them would stand to lose. But what the Barons would have to gain from this meeting going awry, you can't be sure of either. You don't know their motives. You don't know what it is that they want.
There's a third thing, though. Is if this is a play to take the Dawn off the board, to set him up for the barony.
Could be. You don't know enough about the players involved and their motives, what they're planning, what they're wanting behind this meeting, directly and indirectly, to know 100% for sure who stands to gain what. Just that if it goes well, there are going to be pluses on both sides of the table, potentially. But the other two sides of the table might not like that idea.
I'll just kind of be like free-flowing all these ideas out and just look at Pax and say, that is the only logical conclusions I can make at the moment with the information we have.
Sounds pretty close to my own thinking. I don't know.
Whatever happens, we will deal with it. Because we have to. We just prepare as much as we can.
Right, well. What else do we need to prepare?
How long away is this?
A meeting? A week? Maybe 2? As soon as Gregor gives the word? Who knows?
How long does it take to study a ritual of levels that I can take. I think the one of for ghouls.
Ward Against Ghouls, I believe, is a level 2 ritual, if I remember correctly. That would take upwards of 2 weeks to a month,
Okay,
depending how
so not
fast you
enough
work on
then.
it. Or how dedicated you work on it, really. 2 weeks if you spent 100% of your time over a course of 2 weeks, then yes, that would probably constitute a time jump for Alistair instead. But more like a month, month and a half if you're kind of half-heartedly pursuing it.
Okay. Never mind. It was an errant thought of trying to at least add a layer of protection for anything that was Gould to get on the property. But I'll just look at Pax and say, well, I think they're handling as much as they can in security. I don't know what we can do beyond that.
Well, then we'll just keep an eye on Gregor.
You do know of one thing that Deja hasn't mentioned that she's set up in the farm as of yet. And
What's
that's
that?
things like security personnel or cameras or anything of that like. She hasn't mentioned anything like that she's set up yet. So
Well, they had intended on using the pigs for personnel.
if somebody knew how to talk to animals.
Well, that's where the Nosferatu come in. And as for cameras, nobody likes cameras.
What of could we get some personnel to patrol alongside the animals?
I'm concerned with getting extra people involved.
Yeah,
The
that's
more people involved, the more chance it is for things to go awry. I think our best bet is to keep it bare bones. I do have an idea, though. I want to set up an escape route. At least some way of getting the Dawn the hell out of Dodge if things go awry on Deja's farm.
That would be smart.
So, I think that's where my next stop tonight is.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Is this something you need my help with?
Extra set of eyes is always handy.
I'm a little on edge anyways. It'd be good to do something normal.
I don't think scouting out a farm in the middle of the night is normal, but sure, whatever you say.
That being said, there are others who are pursuing endeavors this night. Gregor Douglas and Yvette LaCroix have joined a Nosferatu named Jewel on a tour of the city. Over the course of the last little bit, the both of you have been following this somewhat malformed but wide-eyed and cheerful young woman. Kind of hard to tell with how misformed she is. That she's been delighted to escort you all through the sort of landmarks of the city, the sort of goings on of the the different sort of mortal venues, the hot spots, the what to do and where and why and how of mortal life when it comes to Austin. Shows you the Capitol building from a distance, in case anyone is of particular interest. And she, after kind of going through the sort of tour of the above ground, which she doesn't get to do very often, to her own admitting, she turns to the both of you, kind of still mostly shrouded in the dim light that kind of permeates the night sky, and kind of smiles with her crooked teeth. Well, that should about do it. Any questions?
Yes. Only one. For the moment.
Hmm.
How is this car ride fared yourself, Miss Jewel?
It rides like a dream.
It certainly does.
Hell, I wish I had $150,000. I'd drop it on one of those in an instant. Just to have.
The shading on it has proven convenient. Oftentimes, it's just dim enough that I don't see or often need the accompaniment of the shadows.
Lucky.
Especially in the latest events.
Pretty lucky.
Quite. It was my honor to be able to show you how it is. See the city lights once more. I suppose there is another matter.
How did I know?
There's always a but.
Mm-hmm. Typically is.
You can assume that, based on my lineage, I'm here on business.
You haven't really said much about that.
No, not terribly.
I was leaving that for you to divulge at your own discretion. You know, family and all.
Indeed. Simply said, I have a need
Mm-hmm.
in context of family.
Huh?
I was hoping, with any chance, you would happen to be understanding of any sort of information that I might purvey at this moment.
Depends what
I
you
wish
want to
to-
know.
I wish to know about Baron Kane.
Baron Kane. Equivalent information to equal a ride in a Rolls Royce.
Perhaps it is not suiting enough.
No, I'm just making sure that I understand the agreement that we've sort of stumbled into.
He smirks.
You're adorable. So, About Mr. Kane. Well, one of very few Zamisi that actually reside in the state of Texas, as far as I understand. Old. He's been here a long time. Not old, but old enough. He's big into art. He's big into expensive things. He's big into real estate. What are you looking for?
I'm interested in knowing what he knows of, well, of the Hecata.
He doesn't particularly like them.
Presumably.
The Hecata have always had a hands-off approach when it comes to other kindred, regardless of where you come from. They rarely deal in things that have nothing to do with their own clan. Very isolated, very insular. They're kind of a... Oh, how would he put it? A sometimes necessary evil.
I see.
But that doesn't mean that he generally likes them much.
But it seems he does deal with them on occasion.
Rarely. And I do mean rarely, and never directly. The last time that anyone saw him actually talking to Jose Maria Hernandez was 150 years ago. Now, other people will talk to Mr. Hernandez, but not Mr. Kane.
I see.
No, Jesse Kane is a man of pride, and he doesn't like people stepping on his grass, and so if they don't step on his grass, then he is 100% fine to ignore them.
So it is the trespassing that is considered old blood in this case.
A grudge that never quite died.
I see. I have one last thing I wish to trade with you in information.
Are we playing 20 questions?
No, only 3.
Well, I haven't gotten to ask you any yet, so make it good.
My last question is if you know there is anything incriminating of Baron Kane.
Are you serious? If I knew such a thing, would I tell a stranger?
You would if that stranger could offer you something of relevance. Would you not?
It depends. What do you think I need? Mm-hmm.
Real quick.
Sure.
I'm just sorry, I gotta double check something. No, never mind. I was going to end up making a roll, but I don't think Yvette's capable of it at this point. Sorry.
No worries. Ooh, pardon me.
If it was Dana, oh dear God, but
Nope. Crisscrossing wires.
yep, brain still trying to tie down from that. Sorry about that.
No
Sorry
worries.
to interrupt. But an interesting question. Jewel asking, what do we think Jewel wants?
What do we think Jewel wants?
Do you have a motive specialty when it comes to insight?
Let me look. Nope. I just have 1 dot in insight and 3 dots in wits.
I mean, you can roll it.
Sure.
Trying to figure out if she.
Assist.
Insight you can't assist on unless you're actually actively talking to each other to figure something out. If you're doing it on your own, I'll allow you a roll too.
Fair.
No, I will not roll. I know Derek dice, and I know I'm at 4 hunger.
Oof.
Oh, that's not terrible.
That's not too bad.
That is pretty damn good.
Pretty solid.
That's all the dice I can succeed on, so
It's pretty damn solid for a Gregor roll. Let me look at.
I know my kin. I know my crew.
Okay. You kind of look her over. She's obviously kind of hurting in the wearable clothes department. It's not that they're tatters per se, but they definitely look like they've seen some years. That she's probably had this same set of clothes for a long period of time. They've gone through the wash many times. They've gone through the sewers many times. They've gone through bloody excursions plenty of times. The years have not been kind to her clothing. That much you can visibly see. But with the way that she carries herself is very much in a very sociable person. She definitely knows what it is that she's saying and how to say it. She comes across as a person who is very well versed in being able to persuade and possibly even command in some fashion.
Okay.
But it's obvious that she's very smart and she's very charismatic. She knows what she's doing.
She wants clothes. Nice new clothes.
Well, she's not letting that on per se, but that's definitely something that you spot.
Resources.
It's definitely something that you feel that she might be lacking in, based on just the appearance of her.
Miss Jewel, it is clear to me that you, much like myself, are a socialite. You prefer being amongst others, no matter how shadowed of a being you've become. Perhaps you would be interested in receiving some resources I might also be able to, well, from which you'd be able to procure finer things in life.
Where in the world would I go and buy such a thing?
Perhaps through a mediator, one who understands your predicament, but one who can walk into such shops.
I have very few friends in that regard.
And yet you have met one this evening, Mademoiselle Jewel. It would be very little trouble on my part. Besides, would it not be to your liking to end up knowing that, at least in some small way, the traditional role of our clans would be reversed?
Huh.
You like the sound of that, I am sure.
I'm intrigued. So you want information that money could buy. What was your question again?
I want to know if there is something that incriminates Baron Kane. A relationship, a resource, something that would cause indiscretion and insubordinance within his domain, if rumors were to get rampant.
Well, I can't substantiate the rumor because I wasn't there. But he has been seen poking his nose around with a certain Camarilla.
Is that so?
Now,
It is.
I don't know any names. I don't know much else other than that. But that is the rumor.
It is appreciated, Miss True. If I can.
If I could ask you a question.
Please do.
Why do you want to know? What does Baron Kane mean to a Nosferatu from San Antonio?
As it would turn out, my business here does have a certain impact. During my time, I've discovered something significant. Typically, I run as chauffeur, glorified taxi driver.
Explains the
Or
getup.
from a particular individual have I learned that the Tremere and Chantry here have been amassing power.
The Tremere.
It appears that they've mobilized, and I'm of the understanding that they might be doing so properties of Baron Kane's movements.
The Tremere. Huh. That they're the ones crafting a chantry? It's a Camarilla thing, isn't it?
And yet, I have received direct word from one of their own
Ooh.
that they will be growing in power.
And who would that be?
And this is the point where Gregor, not showing it necessarily to the rearview mirror so that Jewel can see, but just out of the corner of his eyes, looks at Yvette. And Yvette, you can read he's looking for your permission.
Yvette thinks on this. Just the implications alone. You end up having the Nosferatu take exception to the Tremere of this city, to bring them to heel. The notion that this could end up being a shot across the bow. There
A
is a
smear
temptation.
in Alistair's face.
And she stops. But would it end up escalating the situation further?
Could rub his face in it.
Good. Certainement. But at this occasion, Yvette gives a turn of the head as though she's disinterested. But I have no doubt Monsieur Douglas will accept this as though Yvette may have suddenly looked across the city at this moment and realized there's something bigger. Monsieur Douglas has given quite a interesting conundrum. But perhaps Monsieur Douglas has a card that he must hold to play at this moment. There is so much more to be garnered. She leaves it to his decision. But her counsel is offered in silent observation of the city, looking out the window of his Rolls Royce in the company of his own Nosferatu.
Out of character, I have. Does that mean Yvette is leaving it to him?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I trust you, Spax.
Distractions. Gregor gives Alistair Killian Knight's name.
Oh.
I chauffeured him to the chantry. After he revealed to me that the chantry has determined a new enemy and frontier.
She kind of cocks her head at you a little bit. You mean to tell me that a chantry is here in an anarch city I've heard of I've heard of what they were attempting to build in San Antonio. That the Tremere there were looking to educate themselves as they had suspiciously grown in number about 5 years back. Going from a population of 3 to 6?
Hears that this plight is brought to this city as well. You will soon see that their numbers grow here. As they begin to seek to educate themselves on new powers. Preventions, as he stated.
And this is based on this Alistair Knight.
Gregor nods.
I may have to check you on that. And if it doesn't stand up to scrutiny, well, then I would imagine we wouldn't have much more to talk about.
I will give you the location that I dropped Sir Knight off at. Pay attention to it over the course of the next week. And you may perhaps see others.
And if I don't,
then you may take it to me. And you can take it to Baron Kane himself.
well, this has been an enlightening conversation. As far as the need to update my wardrobe, I think I'm going to consider that paid. Based on what you've said, might actually be far more worth it. Just don't prove me wrong. Don't prove yourself wrong. And come up short on your boon.
Certainly not.
Fantastic. Well, it is time for me to get going. Much to do. Much to see.
Mademoiselle Jewel?
Mm-hmm.
Yvette removes her dinner jacket and offers it over.
Oh, no need.
Consider it a memento. An evening where you were allowed to smile. Maybe I hope Monsieur has given you a opportunity to forget your own pain.
She reluctantly takes the jacket.
I believe in the nobility of the Nosferatu, and those I wish to end up demonstrating at least in one moment, but it is more than empty platitudes.
We'll see. Still got my eye on you. She puts on the jacket, and for a brief moment, you see almost that she's instinctively going to push some hair out from underneath the jacket, but realizes she has none.
Magnifique. And she would end up realizing, as well as Monsieur, that the tattoo that goes across Yvette's chest also circles around her arm, her hip, down along the side of her waist. The serpent is quite long, quite an arduous tattoo. One that must have taken dozens of hours.
Neat tattoo. You a big fan of snakes?
No. My sire decided to celebrate an achievement of his own and made me his constant reminder.
Oh. It's a shame you don't like it.
What I like and what I do not has not been relevant until recent nights. I'm sure you could understand that.
Maybe a little more than you think. But I have other things to get on to, and I'm sure you both have things that you must attend to tonight. So I will bid you all good night and return to my own little hidey hole, as morning will probably be coming fairly soon.
Soir, mademoiselle.
She gives a nod and leaves out of the Rolls Royce, kind of pulling up a sort of tattered hood from underneath, with the tattered hoodie that she kind of wears, and walks off into the night and almost seems to disappear.
Yvette in the back seat leans back. Is it true?
The truth lies only what I've seen tonight.
You
Sir
believe?
Knight, my apologies. Sir Knight does intend to amass power. But only against you. This I have seen. And this I can count on. Therefore, I have left the terms ambiguous on purpose.
There was one question I ended up realizing the mademoiselle did not ask. Perhaps she already knew the answer. You dedicate everything to your sire, oui?
This is correct.
So how does it benefit your sire to cross paths with Premier? Your sire is in San Antonio, and I am not deaf. I have heard such relation with the War Baron. Perhaps you did not know this, but I have had the pleasure of meeting his child there. Interesting, is it not? A conflict in Austin where the hatchet seem buried out in San Antonio. What does your sire have to gain?
At the moment, it is a temporary distraction for Baron Kane.
C'est
In the
dangereux.
long in the long term, it is the distrust needed to allow for any future plans to unfold. An unsteady movement is perhaps one that can easily be folded. My sole job and purpose here is to make sure that no one is concerned about the meeting.
Then I understand your position. Now I have fulfilled my part of our agreement. I think I will hunt before evening's end.
I'm famished.
I am indeed famished. And I do not wish to end up causing any complications to you or your sire in my current state.
Suppose I have to bid you adieu, Madame Lacroix. For now.
Very well, Monsieur Douglas. I will wish you a bientôt.
There
Bonsoir.
was. I have one more question. Perhaps you might. Perhaps you will not. Have you also heard of this rumor? Baron Kane and his consort.
I have not.
Then I suppose I will have to do the search on my own. Take care tonight.
Understand, Monsieur Douglas? My position is that I am to assist this coterie in all the matters that has been placed before it. What it is that I must do must go through Mademoiselle Pax. I would suggest, given your circumstances, that you end up discussing this with her. Especially the implication that has been made this evening, lest she leave you to turn the knife in her back. After all, you would not wish to anger the Dawn when you've gone so far as to end up arranging this meeting.
Certainly the last thing I would want. Very well.
A bientôt, Monsieur Douglas. Yvette steps out of the car.
The very nice car.
Yes. It is a thing of beauty. A reminder of times gone by. But at this moment, I must hunt.
Could eat him. Take his car.
Tempted as I am. I will instead focus on what I must do. Feed and return to the Coterie Haven.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so you're headed back to your own domain to hunt and then go to the coterie house. What are you going to be up to, Mr. Douglas?
Gregor is going to do precisely what Yvette suggested. Return to the coterie house and let Pax know.
Okay.
Only Pax. Only Pax.
Alright. So, since you both are headed in that direction, let's go ahead and give Yvette her hunting roll, since she will be about an hour behind when Gregor actually appears. Ooh. 5 will do it.
Holy shit, he made a roll.
Yeah,
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
yeah. At 400, no less. Someone you've known briefly. But yeah, you remember encountering them once before. It's been a long time. It's been a little while. And when you go to feed on them, surprisingly, you don't have much of an issue with being able to drink it down. It's somehow satisfies your very unique tastes. Maybe something you said to them back then. You can't recall. Can't recall what it was. Must have been something inspirational or something very you that made a difference in their life somehow. But they satisfy your need for that specific flavor. But I also need you to make a frenzy check.
Wow. You had to
no.
open your mouth, right?
I'm sorry if that is my bad juju on you.
No. Oh no. That is supposed to be a difficulty 3, my friend.
9 dice can't make
9
3.
dice.
Oh,
Yvette, the events of the night have stressed you out. You've been on the brink for so long tonight. You have been riding on a knife's edge. And finally, something that this little whelp, regardless of how good he tastes, this little whelp says the wrong thing. The wrong thing, and it just... The last thread that you have snaps. You lunge at him, you sink your teeth in. You sink your teeth in deep and just gnaw and chew and drink and guzzle and just drink down this delectable liquid. It tastes so good. It tastes so very good. The rare instance in which you can feed on someone without barfing. And so you drink, and you drink, and you drink, and you drink, and you drink it all. Ripping clothing and flesh and everything down to bone from this person. And when you're done, there is a mess. Viscera is all over you. It's in your clothes, it's in your hair, it's in your mouth, it's in bits and blood and just a showered mess. You are safely in a secluded corner, so the muffles of this person's maybe resistance under the kiss might have been muffled. You're in some alley somewhere in the middle of this domain of yours. And so there are trash cans and other such things that are available to you in the immediacy. But you are covered in this man's blood and viscera.
Now, if I am to understand, our domain is primarily highlighted by the separation of the river, correct?
Your domain is squarely in Baron Kane's domain. It is not on the border at all.
Okay. Well, that is unfortunate.
You have access to the rest of the domain, but you feed in this particular space in the middle.
After a moment of collecting myself, feeling the blood, licking it with my fingers.
Might even feel a little bit bloated.
Like a tick. Glorious. I draw in breath, though I need not, forcing my final bit of wounds to heal. Feel like I am finally made whole.
And that little voice in the back of your mind is quiet. Those little errant thoughts that you normally would be having about Alistair right now. Simply an inconvenience.
Simply an inconvenience. I make it a point to start to go to the dumpster earlier mentioned, opening it up and begin to slosh in the pieces of this individual, taking hold of their wallet, breaking their cell phone.
How undignified.
It is, but it must be done. As I am putting their remains in the trash bags that were already placed in the dumpster, if something has cat litter upon it or something akin, I will simply dump it on the ground to absorb the blood and kick it into the pools. If there was a recent rain, we'll end up masking it within.
This isn't the first time that you've done this. In fact, you've probably done so for your sire a couple of times. He can be rather messy.
Unfortunate. But I will make do.
And every time he did, it scared you. That you would be next. That loss of control.
I wipe with old newspaper and some, I have no doubt, paper towel that smells of Lysol in the garbage. I wipe myself down as best I can before heading out. Try and clean myself up, staying in the darkness of the alleys. Trying to avoid contact with crowds or major roadways if possible. For those who cross my path in the back alleys, they forget me as quick as they see me. I'm not one to slouch and hide. I don't think it's within me. But I do make it a point to try and get them back to the Coterie Heval before I end up continuing on.
Quickly walking. Which brings us back to the Coterie House. Where I believe we will be right back for a moment because we do need to take a break. So, be back momentarily, everyone. We will continue with our lovely coterie here in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to Austin by Starlight, episode 10. Last we left off, our coterie had kind of parted ways from earlier in the evening, having gone with Yvette and Gregor on an excursion to see the sights of the city and have a conversation with Jewel. Deja had gone to see Don Hernandez earlier in the night, as well as pick up some perhaps illicit firearms from some contacts that she knows, and as well as bringing them back to the Haven. As Alistair and Pax, having their conversation earlier after Yvette had left for the moment, were just about to leave the coterie house when Deja's truck and Gregor's Rolls Royce start to pull into the driveway in separate ways. The both of them, of course, getting out of their vehicles to go towards the house as Alistair and Pax were preparing still. So, this leaves the scene to the rest of you.
Well, talk about timing.
Do what?
We were just about to head out to your farm.
I wouldn't have been there, but okay. I was on my way to find you anyhow.
Something happened?
I got some things I need your help with around the farm.
Let's see. Talk about timing.
Yeah. I also have a few new surprises you might want to be aware of.
Of course. Oh, Gregor, you're back too. Where's your vet?
Evening.
Miss Yvette had to run some errands. I decided and was given leave to return back on my own.
Right.
I
Well,
understand that there seems to be some chores to be done.
Mr. Douglas is always chores to be done. Always.
Perhaps I can assist, Miss Stacia.
Uh, at this time I don't think so, but if I need your hand, I'll let you know. I do appreciate the offer. Uh,
Anytime.
Do you need a private ear, Deja?
pardon? I didn't. Uh, probably.
All right. I'll leave you down here with Mr. Knott, and I'll be just upstairs talking to Miss Deja. We'll be right back.
I'll just give a nod and I'll go over and sit in my chair and pull out a book and invite Mr. Douglas to come with.
Gregor follows. Sir Knight, it's good to see you made it back.
Yes.
I had feared.
Oh,
Go
please
ahead.
go ahead.
I simply feared that we would not be seeing you for the rest of the evening.
No, I just needed to clear my head and get the priorities in straight.
Alright. I hope you would not be too transgressed about earlier, in which I locked you in the vehicle.
I understand why you did it. It's a bit annoying being manhandled, but I think that anybody would have that reaction.
Yes,
It is acceptable, though.
it's good to hear. Perhaps next time I can offer you a ride without forcing you inside.
Yes.
Gregor studies. For a moment, he just kind of peers at the book that Alistair is reading.
It's just a, probably a book on, let's say, Irish mythologies and, an old, like, occult lore.
You study folktale.
Yes, it is hard to sift through what is true and what is theory, but I have a thirst for knowledge, and I wish to learn all that I can.
See. Certainly. I suppose I have a similar curiosity behind what is truth and what isn't. Especially now.
Yes. Truth can be tricky. It depends on whose truth you're looking for as well.
Mm-hmm. What of your truth, Sir Knight?
What would you ask about?
What do you suppose of a predisposition? How
Say
would you
that one.
define it?
Say that again.
What would you propose of a predisposition? How would you define it?
Our predisposition as in being vampire?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's both blessing and curse. It has merits, it has flaws. Ultimately, though, I think entropy will take everything. People may claim immortality, but everything falls at some point.
Interesting. Perhaps a bit different than how I view it.
What is your thoughts?
It is dreary. A dark existence bent on survival. No matter how long lived it is. Each struggle remains to be more man than beast. And that struggle, no matter how ancient, remains the only true one.
That is true. And forgive me for a moment I didn't take into consideration that you do not have certain luxuries that the rest of us do have. I apologize for the misthought.
I take no offense. Each of us are bestowed upon a different aspect of the curse.
Yes.
It troubles us. My apologies.
Oh no,
Merely-
I was just in agreement.
It merely troubles us in different ways, one way or another.
What about you? You said you have a curiosity. I'm sure I can find something here to interest you while we wait.
He thinks about it. I suppose my curiosity lies in, well, more historical aspects.
Well, then you've came to the right place. And, Pallister will just get up and start leading him into his study and basically pointing out history of this, history of that, history of that, and, just find something for Gregor to read
Fair enough.
while we're waiting.
Fair enough. Which leaves us with Pax and Deja. You go upstairs to a more private room where the both of you can speak more freely together. Malkavian to Malkavian.
Yeah. I have some things I need your help with, and some new little surprises spread around the farm. Not in places that are gonna harm any of my livestock, but might do some considerable damage to any of mortal or kindred you need to be aware of. And
What have you been up to, Deja? What kind of sneaky little business have you got going?
well, for one, I got some more guns. I had a conversation with Don Hernandez about you specifically knowing where these things were, allowing your connection to would make him aware of positions of things that might be of some note, as well as where I don't trust Gregor as far as I can throw him.
Well,
And to
that
be
makes two
honest,
sense.
I'm very uneasy with him being on my farm, and I figured having some more guns as well as letting you know where the things that go boom might be placed would be a benefit to you and Don Hernandez and, well, his men.
Well, it wouldn't be great for Don Hernandez to go boom,
Well, they're not
or for any of
specifically
us.
in they're not in specific places where meetings like that would normally take. They are spread around the farm though, because Mr. Gregor made a mention of security, and well, it is a big place, and I can't be everywhere at once, so I decided a few surprises would be in order.
That's not a bad idea.
And she takes a small map of the farm and starts putting little X's in specific places where she remembers having put any kind of explosive.
While we're here, I want to talk to you about establishing a kind of escape route for the Dawn if things go awry.
Indeed. Now,
Oh,
there,
pardon?
there, there are some old tunnels in, around, and under the house. They're not very long. The only one that I think still standing, you have to access through the house, but it goes out beyond the fence line. I'll have to check and make sure the maintenance has been upkept and it's clear still. But you do remember my farm was used as part of the Underground Railroad, right?
No, I didn't remember that. But
Well,
that works beautifully.
there are places to hide in the house if, well, nothing else. But there is one old tunnel that hasn't collapsed, at least the last time I checked. I'll have to check again. And if it comes to that, maybe spending more time at the farm than, well, here. And this house needs more help than I can give it at this minute. You need
That's a
6 of me to get this shit fixed.
Deja. We all know this house is gonna take fucking forever to put back together. And at
I
the
don't know.
moment, this moving place, your farm, takes precedence. So
Yeah,
if you if you need a hand, you let me know.
I gotta check on some things, but indeed, if I need a hand, you will be the first one I call. Um, no, there's uh, I'm not exactly sure how many guns I got, but
A small pile.
there's a small pile that needs to be placed, and you need to know their whereabouts as well. I promised Don
I'll,
Hernandez that
I'll help you set that
yeah.
up. I have Alistair and Yvette earlier on this evening?
You mean where I tore a vet from holding a gun down Alistair's throat?
Yeah, that.
Yes, I am aware. And,
Just how volatile was that situation?
well, if a vet had even flinched, there would, what's left of Alistair would have been splattered all over the walls.
Fucking fantastic.
I don't know exactly what tripped that trigger, but, the only thing I could think to do was to pull Yvette off of him and give him an opportunity to make escape. I did not expect to have to repair a window in the process.
Which is still broken
Alistair,
by the moment.
Alistair opened his mouth about, and Pax waves her hand, gesturing towards the ring finger.
I did not hear the comment. I was busy making repairs.
I'm just
I-
giving you the background. He made a comment about that, and in front of Mr. Douglas.
Anywho, my understanding is, well, whatever happened, neither one is willing to submit to either. And, well, I don't see this going very well if we don't have some kind of,
I had a talk with
peace
Alistair about that too.
between Yvette and Alistair. And I don't see that being, well, anything but tenuous at best. And, before she left, did Deja leave anything to kind of board up the window?
It's maybe got a tarp on it right now.
And leave most of it where weather stays outside, so I'll get to that tomorrow night, but I got other things I need to do.
We've all got other things we need to do. I'm a little bit concerned though that Yvette didn't come back with Gregor.
I assume she'll be along when she's cooled her jets.
I hope so. I did talk with Alistair about the situation. He seems to have calmed down. But
Does he understand our private matters are our private matters and not
he
for
does now.
ev-
He does now.
Okay.
That boy, he's not smart. I mean, he's smart, but he's not smart.
He lacks common sense.
Yeah. You could put it like that.
He can read a book and tell you everything about it, but he don't tell you how. He ain't got the wits to know how to interact with folks on a personable level and what to keep quiet and what not.
I think we gotta teach the teacher, you know? He needs a bit of education.
I don't think he'll appreciate our forms of education, but
Just I'm gonna start handling him with kit gloves. I think it's about the only way to get anything sorted.
he ain't
Let
no
him learn smoke.
Fabergé egg.
What?
He ain't no Fabergé egg. You gotta coddle the boy.
No, not what I meant.
I apologize if I mistook that, but that's how it sounded.
No, like only tell him what he needs to know.
Indeed. Anything more, and You're just asking for him to tell somebody you don't want.
Yeah, and then when you do tell him fucking something, make real fucking clear whether it's to be kept quiet or not. He doesn't seem to understand. He can't read between the lines.
So it has to be explicitly told to him that, hey, this is not something to bandy about.
That's
Okay.
until he learns. Until he fucking learns. Like, I understand it. He wasn't. You and I, we've been in this for a while. Like, outside of all the fangs and the blood, we were already in this. But that boy, before all this, he was a bookworm. He was a fucking bookworm.
They have their places too, usually getting eaten, but you know.
My point being, he needs to be retaught.
So we gotta take the place of teaching this boy something he should have learned from his sire. Got it.
Yeah,
Maybe his
just
sire
another
didn't know
job.
the right way to teach this lesson.
It's just another
Well,
fucking job.
how are you doing, by the way?
I'm frustrated. I'm concerned. Fucking concerned. Something smells. Something is real off.
Yeah. And I don't know what right now, but I'm preparing as if this is potentially my last week on Earth. So I'm gonna make sure that Pita and Angelique are in a position to take care of themselves as well.
Smart move. Hey, Deja, did you ever meet my daddy?
I do not know if I have. ST, have I ever met Hax's daddy?
I'm gonna say, for the sake of argument, yes. Once. He was doing one of the usual things that people of Don Hernandez's ilk often do when they come to your farm.
It was, what, probably years ago?
Yeah, a
But it
couple
was
of years
only
ago,
once?
at least.
Several years ago. And it was only once. If anybody else knew him better, that would have been Daddy. And
Yeah. Well, I saw him the other night.
uh-huh.
And, he was with Julian, and Alistair was there as well. And I might have lost my shit after they left. He's, he's got himself in a little bit of trouble. Cops got their eyes on him. Fucking pigs.
Well, they roast just like mine.
Yeah, but while they got eyes on him, there's really not much to be done.
No.
That pig started going missing, and all of a sudden his mouth becomes sniffing.
Yeah. Hmm.
If there's anything about a hog, it's that they've got good noses.
Yeah.
And Deja, you get this weird vibe. Not that Pax is outwardly just making any signs of it, but something. This conversation
I want to insight that.
really strikes a chord. Yeah. It's more. It's not necessarily that you're reading it off of her body language or anything like that. It's almost like that sixth sense that you have.
Is coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you've always noticed that sort of thing picks up much easier with your own clan than it does with any other kindred. Almost like you're briefly connected for a moment and then it's gone.
Oh, shit.
So the kind of it's almost like you get an inkling of that slight panic that Pax gets at the mention of her dad at all.
Right. And that just triggers for Deja what she just went through earlier this evening with her daddy.
Just a little bit of not quite right.
And as Pax is saying this, speaking of daddies, holy shit. I don't know if I'm losing my mind. Just seeing things. But I saw Daddy this evening.
ST, how aware is Pax of the situation with Deja's father?
Unless Deja said anything specifically to you, that would be an intelligence streetwise. I don't know that she has explicitly said anything regarding the situation, though.
I don't think.
No. Pax
Maybe
is
that he passed
aware-
away a little while ago, but that's really about it.
Deja is aware he's not running the farm anymore. He is deceased.
Yeah, Pax is aware he passed away. That's what you get with the streetwise, but
Yeah, you saw.
Say what now? I that got garbled.
What did you say, Deja?
I said speaking. I said speaking of daddies, I saw mine this evening. I don't know if I'm losing my mind and just seeing things.
Was it like his ghost?
It was like talking to you. I could touch him. I could feel him. I hugged him.
and a brief little twinge of the feelings that she was feeling in that moment when she saw him are there for a second and it's gone. Pax?
Deja, didn't your daddy pass?
But I had a conversation with him just like I'm talking to you.
I mean, it's got to be a ghost, right? I mean, we've dealt with ghosts before.
But I ain't never touched one. I ain't never been able to hold one. They don't have any physicality to them.
Shit.
He was as solid as you. And she touches your shoulder, and you can feel the pressure she's putting on your. As if I'm just like touching you.
Pax reaches up and she takes Deja's hand. Hey, it's all right.
When you take her hand, you see a single blood red tear strolling streak down her cheek.
Pax reaches up to wipe it away. She says, when we go back to your farm, we should go to where you saw him. You saw him on the farm, right?
Yeah. He said he's there every day. Every night. Still doing what he was doing, but that can't be. I'm the one that does it. Opida.
We'll find out what's going on. We'll figure it out.
Like I said, I needed to talk to you too.
Me?
Yeah, I'm just. You said you was looking for me, and well, I was looking for you, so.
Well, I've already said what I need to. I was just I was gonna go over to your farm to scout out a escape route, but we've sorted that now.
We'll get that all sorted, and need you to know where these locations are so that you can
Right,
pass
right.
that
So
information to Don Hernandez.
I'll come with you back to your farm and we'll sort that out.
Alright,
Is that okay?
that's more than okay. I was gonna ask you to come with me whether you wanted to or not. I don't feel. I don't know how to say it. It was so nice to finally see Daddy again, but I'm a bit on edge at this point. I don't.
I can believe it. But Deja, you need to focus on the now. Focus on here.
And you can tell her mind is slightly distracted by the thoughts of what she went through this evening. She's listening to every word you're saying. She hears it, but you're not completely sure if she's soaking it in. Shall we go back to the others now?
I think that might be a good idea. Not too keen on leaving Alistair alone with Gregor for too long.
I'm not too keen on either one of them at this point, but I definitely don't want any further bloodshed this evening.
That'd be nice. A lack thereof.
The two of you make your way back down the stairs towards the study and entryway.
I'd like to make a note too that during that descent, Pax continues to hold Deja's hand. She doesn't let it go.
Okay, holding each other's hands.
Yeah.
And that's about when Yvette walks in the door. A right bloody mess.
Do we see Pax and Deja see Yvette come through the door?
Everyone sees Pax sees Yvette come through the door and in her current state.
What the fuck happened to you?
He takes a moment to just simply look around, give everybody a small nod, and starts to walk towards the washroom, very clearly having a shower, case in hand.
Clearly ignoring your question.
Yvette, what happened to you?
Nothing of consequence.
Nothing of consequence. Whose blood are you wearing? Is that yours?
He pulls out what appears to be a driver's license, places it face down, looking at Monsieur Knight, and flicks it across the table towards him. Figured you might want this.
Flicks it across the table to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A bloody plate, making it and specifically towards you.
I would pick it up and take a look at it.
And she will go towards the shower.
Alistair, it's not anybody you know. But she heads off to the shower.
Alistair's just going to be very confused.
Can Pax incite that action, please?
Sure. That's a wit's insight. Yvette's, you meant for this to be only for Alistair to pick up on. And so that's going to be a composure and subterfuge. Yeah. Take her word
Can
for
I
it.
make the roll as well?
Yeah.
To see if I can figure out.
Wits and insight.
No, and I will rouse the blood for this too, because I want to know. That'll do.
Out of character, I know exactly what that was.
Yeah. Probably, but I need to figure it out in character.
Pax,
Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't figure it out, but alright.
Pax is. Maybe she's right. Maybe it's a thing of consequence. Maybe it's another one of those personal matters that, is between Alistair and Yvette. They're not really on speaking terms from what you can tell.
I have no idea. I'm just glad they're not tearing each other apart.
It looks to you like they're not on speaking terms. Alistair, something strikes you as really odd about this. Like, why would she flick you the driver's license of somebody you don't necessarily know? The face isn't familiar.
Insight. I can give you that insight. Absolutely. Might as well.
Go ahead.
Alistair, at no point did it ever occur to you that the driver's license might have been somebody you did know. It was that moment of not knowing was the point. It's that she could have just come back, and that could have been Michelle. That could have been Mom. That could have been Dad.
Could have been anybody, As soon as you flipped it over, there might have been a sigh of relief coming from you unconsciously.
Yes. I would just pick up the driver's license and probably hold it in my hand.
Look over it a little confused. Kind of look over towards the bathroom.
And it dawned on me of what she was trying to imply. And I'd probably, start balling up a fist and crushing the license in my hand.
Is there a mess we need to go clean up?
Yvette's already in the bathroom right now.
Do I notice the bullying of hands? Any of that?
How well are you hiding that, Mr. Knight? That will be a composure and subterfuge for you if you're trying to hide it.
I don't know if I'd have the willpower to hide it.
I mean, you could try. You can certainly try.
Because I'm out of willpower right now. I think it would just be on his face. He's a raw nerve.
So it'd be pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly obvious, it looks like. There's
Now,
no contest here.
Alistair, remember what we said earlier? What we spoke about?
You'll see him just kind of counting to himself, trying to do like a math equation in his head, trying to concentrate on anything right now.
He's practicing his coping mechanisms.
He's trying. He's trying.
He is. There's the try
Yes.
at least.
I remember what we talked about, but if she's going to keep implying that she's going after my family, we will have issues.
I'll have a talk with her.
Deja says to Alistair, do you not just think that could just be a dig to see? Or see how far, because she knows it gets under your skin? She's trying to get a rise out of you, so you give her an excuse?
Hmm. I really miss alcohol right now.
If you want to get drunk, I know quite a few bars around here. We can go find somebody for you to feed on, so you can have that experience.
I don't trust myself right now. I just need a moment.
That's good, because that
And a
makes
night's
two of
sleep.
us.
I still have to clean up my study. I still have to go with packs. There's just too much to do in one night.
Take a deep breath. Got a little bit of time. We handle one thing as it comes. One thing at a time. Or we overload ourselves.
Okay. While you are
Right.
getting ready, I'm going to go clean up the study from earlier.
All right.
Other than the tarp over the window, Deja hasn't done anything in there.
Yeah, Alistair's just going to go get a broom and dustpan.
How you doing, Mr. Gregor? Mr. Douglas?
I'm doing all right this evening. Miss Cosetta, how do you fare?
I'm getting there. I think tonight we're working on frayed nerves.
Seems so. Well, if I might be of any assistance, then you certainly know where to find me. I understand you all will be heading to Miss Deja soon.
Yeah. I got some stuff to sort out over there. Preparations to be made, you know.
Very well.
Actually, I wouldn't mind a word with you, just in private.
I was to ask the same thing. I'm glad we are of the same mind.
Well, that's surprising. All right, come upstairs. We'll have a chat.
Very well. And he follows her.
Alright. Follows her up the stairs. The Yvette is showering and getting a fresh clean set of clothes. Alistair is cleaning up the study. And Deja's doing what for now?
Looking at the materials that she has to work on the repairs for the kitchen to see if what else she needs to at least board up that window for now.
Oh, okay. So you'd probably be in the same room as Alistair then. Kind of
Yeah.
getting an idea of what needs to be done in there. Um, so
She's probably got her measuring tape to
mhm,
to see what all she needs to cover this window.
yep. So that you can either properly board it up or you can get a new window fixed in,
Yeah.
whichever. But
Right.
Pax and Gregor head up the stairs to that little private room once more. This is probably the fourth or fifth time that you've been in this room now, Pax.
There's been a lot of conversations tonight. A
A lot of
lot more
talking.
talking than I'm used to.
You certainly seem more the type to prefer to do things. Action-oriented.
Well, that's what I'm here for. But in the coterie, my position tends to shift a little. Go figure, it's the crazy one that keeps the peace.
How's that fared for you?
I mean, it could be a little better.
How
How's
does
it
it
look
make
to you from the outside?
Hmm. Stands to question. I suppose, what is it about you that makes you so much more grounded?
I'd say it was my upbringing.
Respectable.
Learned a lot from Don Hernandez. Never intend on wasting his time.
Hmm. I
You
suppose I
were.
don't... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, continue. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
I was simply going to say I don't wish to waste yours then.
Then we are of an accord. Now, you were out with Yvette earlier on this evening, and I believe you were present when the mess happened earlier. Did she say anything to you?
Define the mess. The one she came home with, or...
Either or.
I was not there for the mess that she came home with. She said she would go out and acquire some food, and I left her to it, and
I
returned
see.
back here. Now, as for tonight, the incident between yourself and Alistair, I was there for that, though not in the same room.
Thankfully.
Preferably, I remained out of it. I left it to Miss Deja to determine and make counsel on those circumstances, and was there if ever they needed specific instruction or movement. From what I could understand beyond the room, Alistair entered, made a sly remark that I am choosing to forget at this time.
Wise decision.
Miss Yvette was upset. They left to a room to speak quietly, though the quiet did not last. It seemed to turn into an argument beyond the door, and soon we heard clattering movement, shuffling. Anastasia chose to enter at that time and break up the two, as at the same time I chose to go and prepare my vehicle in case, well, in case we needed to transport a body. To
I see.
which Alistair jumped out the window. I grabbed him and proceeded to walk him in my vehicle. I had a short chat with him as I took him to a place of his choosing. That chat was merely him venting his frustrations out on me.
You'll have to forgive our coterie. We do try and keep our business to ourselves. Unfortunately, some of us are still learning. Sorry you had to deal with that.
It's the nature of what we are. It is very easy to lose ourselves in the moment. All the more reason I act as I do.
It is indeed. Now, you said you had something to talk to me
That
about. I'd
is
love to
correct.
hear it.
In good faith to both yourself and Don Hernandez, I did have another discussion with a different kindred tonight. A Nosferatu by the name of Jewel brought me in contact with Madame Yvette.
Madame.
I have a choice of wording for each of you. Seems to roll off the tongue, such as Mademoiselle.
How very French of you.
Now, the conversation was as carried. Miss Jewel and I made a simple contract. First, in exchange for basic information of the city and a few kindred in the area, such as Baron Kane, and knowing more about the Hekata's presence here and how I can be supportive of your cause. I
You
gave
didn't
her,
think to ask myself?
I suppose I could have.
That's what I'm here for.
But surprisingly, Miss Jewel could not give me any further information than what you had already presented.
Well, we are very good at keeping our business our own.
Quite. That being said, in exchange for this information, I give her a ride in the Rolls Royce. And a second deal was struck in exchange for resources. I would acquire a rumor, an incriminating variety of Baron Kane. There were implications made. First, that Baron Kane is collaborating with Camarilla. And second, that Tremere are creating a chantry.
Interesting. You know anything about the validity of either of these?
The validity I'm uncertain of. I'll proceed to begin my own investigations. If I can bring to light any validity behind them, it will stand to reason hereforward that Baron. Okay.
Okay. That's a wits insight for Pax. Gregor, that's a half truth.
That is a half truth.
So that
Do
is
I get my interrogation specialty?
for insight, yes. because you have been probing him with some questions, so that will apply. Gregor, I'm going to call this a charisma subterfuge because you're telling both
Charisma.
a truth and a lie.
Ooh, yeehaw. All right. You're gonna see right through me, Pax. You're welcome. I only have 3 dice. I only have 3 dice, dude.
Gotta try.
I can, and I failed.
Ooh, and she has 6. No,
Yep.
7.
Yep.
Well, thankfully, this isn't a social combat. You're not intending to hurt each other. But, Pax, you smell. You're not sure which one is which. You smell a truth, you smell a lie.
How is Gregor positioned at the moment?
Actually, you did crit. The chantry's the lie. You can feel it in your bones. Something strikes you with a bit of paranoia regarding that.
How is Gregor positioned at the moment? Is he standing? Is he sitting? Is he against
He's
a wall?
he's standing.
Standing with his hands behind his back as much as you've ever seen him.
Gregor, you look so uncomfortable. Why don't you take a seat?
I'm not quite uncomfortable.
I feel like this is going to be a long conversation.
It appears you have more to say. Very well. He sits down.
Pax sidles up to him, and she will actually sit in his lap. And she takes his chin, and she turns his face to look directly at her. Now, I don't know about you, Gregor, but I really, really don't like being lied to. So this information, can you tell me about the validity of it?
Miss Jewel gave me the information regarding Baron Kane and the Camarilla collaboration.
And what about the chantry?
Mr. Alistair Knight's frustrations read to me as an effort to call in more support.
More support for what?
For an attack on Miss Madame LaCroix.
Now, see, doesn't it feel so much better to tell the truth?
Certainly. I'll give
Now,
you more.
yeah, actually, tell me more. I'd love to hear it all.
I have investment with Madame LaCroix at the moment.
Investment? Oh, this I'd love to hear.
She's been a part of my collaborations with this Miss Jewel thus far, and as such knows as much as I do. I did not intend, or rather, I sought her consent to bring the issue of the chantry to light. To bring in this rumor of the Tremere.
You mean the issue of Alistair that you've passed off as the chantry?
Word it how you will.
I don't like lies, Mr. Douglas.
I used his name. I've already admitted that. What other lies do you think are at present?
How far has he been implicated with this Miss Jewel?
Implicated that the Tremere are seeking empowerment and to establish a chantry.
Hmm. So how did his name come out? How did you drop his name into her ear?
Miss Jewel wanted to know who it was that gave me the information.
And you drop him right into the fire. Well, now I know what mess I'm going to be dealing with. You said you have some, what's the word? Investment in our lovely friendship. Does that investment expand past this discussion with Miss Jewel? Or is it something else?
It is merely that.
I'd like to inside
Yep, charisma persuasion, Gregor.
Charisma and persuasion.
Yep.
Well, I mean, pretty sure it is just that. I'm just working off one fucking dice here, man.
Oh no.
That's a no.
Thankfully, it's not a bestial failure. Just a failure.
Just a failure.
You're so cute, Mr. Douglas.
Yeah,
She pats his.
he's telling the truth. He's an awful liar.
Now,
It
you
just
and I, we're not
makes you that
see.
much more paranoid. What else
You
is he
and I,
planning?
we're not going to say anything outside of this room concerning this conversation. But I'd like you to keep in mind that I do dislike lies, and that I won't stand for any more untruths being fed to me. And you'll have to understand that I do have an investment in this coterie. That includes Mr. Knight and Yvette. And if you do anything to put them or my family in danger, I'll make sure you pay dearly.
Is understood.
Right. She gets up off of his lap, springs up, and offers him a hand to help him to his feet. Shall we go about our business tonight?
Agreeable. Thank you for the conversation, Miss Cassetta.
And thank you. I feel so much better now. Don't you?
He's planning something. He's planning something, and it's going to go badly. This whole thing stinks.
Smells like rotten eggs. A whole dozen of them. can't very well let him know that. Or anyone else, for that matter.
To be clear, you are under the paranoia compulsion. Until you spend at least an hour in a safe place, considered to Bax. Spend at least an hour there, you are at a neg-2 penalty for all rolls at the moment.
Yes.
And then compulsions also trigger your bane.
Oh, shit. It's been a long time since that's been mentioned.
Compulsions also trigger your bane. You cannot think of anything else. Unless it involves Gregor and this plan that he has regarding the farm and the meeting, you are also at your compulsion penalty, or your bane penalty for any rolls. Mentally.
All right. Mental?
Yep. You can't think of anything else.
I can understand that. Because it stinks. It stinks.
It stinks to high heaven.
And now he might have Yvette wrapped around his finger.
He might.
She's not that stupid. She's not a weasel these ways.
Is she on his
How
side
do I-
now?
How do I combat this? Got no way of telling how much he really knows.
He's Nosferatu. He knows everything.
That's the best assumption to work under.
Gotta get rid of him.
It's the only assumption to work under.
Gotta get rid of him. Oh my.
I just heard that.
That's a crack-a-boom
That
from
made
the
me
Australia. It also made your camera flicker there for a second.
Okay, no joke. It has been storming here for like the last 3 days.
Damn.
Sorry.
How nuts. But you both are free to go about the rest of the house as you see fit. It's about this time that Yvette is also coming out of the bathroom, having cleaned herself up. So you all are present on the ground floor, should you all desire it. And that is where you are currently.
How you feeling, Frenchie?
Now, this conversation that Monsieur Douglas and Mademoiselle Cosetta have had has taken a bit of time. Oui?
It has, yes, it has.
Would I have had enough time to have maybe 1 or 2 more months to myself?
By yourself? Of course.
Oui. I have taken out one of my business cards, written something upon it, and to my understanding, Mademoiselle Deja and Monsieur Knight are currently operating on fixing a window, right?
In the study, yes.
It's at that exact moment, and she will end up walking into there to observe the situation. And I have no doubt that Alastair already has perhaps a book placed upon the mess that is his reading desk that we were struggling upon earlier, the one with the letter opener.
He's got a broom. He's actually got a broom and dustpan, kind of dusting up some of the glass that had fallen off. Most of it had fallen outside, but some of it had fallen inside the house.
She will look at the book that is placed there, having no doubt that he has a keen eye for detail. She will take that business card with the message upon it, place it in between the pages where it was, and put the book closed. She does not acknowledge Monsieur Knight. She does not acknowledge Monsieur Deja. She simply does so as though this was her own room. and starts to walk out of there before suddenly coming across Mademoiselle Cosetta.
To which she says, "Yeah, how you doing, Frenchie?"
I am. She pauses and then seems to go to a familiar line. It is of no consequence, Mademoiselle Cosetta. How may I assist you?
It's of no consequence. It's of no consequence. It's of no fucking consequence. Yeah, sure.
You remember what Don Hernandez says, "I decide what's of consequence"? That thought rings across your mind for a moment.
Well, if it does end up being a something of consequence,
You will
feel
be the
free to
first
come and talk
be
to me.
dismissed. I am at your disposal as always, Mademoiselle Cosetta.
Hey. Same goes, hey.
I appreciate the candor. I trust Monsieur Douglas has had a discussion with you, as per my
He has indeed.
recommendation.
He has indeed. Although I'd much prefer to keep the contents of said discussion to myself.
As you wish, Mademoiselle Cosetta.
You know, I'm a little concerned about the tense atmosphere between you and Mr. Nye. Is there something you need to get off your chest concerning that?
The friction between Monsieur Knight and myself is between Monsieur Knight and myself. It will not impact my duties to the coterie.
But that's the thing, if you two can't get along, it will impact, Yvette. As much as you two don't want to think it will, it will.
What would you suggest? How would I put your mind at ease?
Fuck, I don't know. My mind is never at ease.
I,
Particularly not right now.
I suspect not.
No,
Is
you'd be right.
it your condition?
Is she planning something? Something's not right. They're all here. They're all gonna get me. They're all gonna rat me out.
My condition is not of concern right now. What we're talking about right now is you and Alistair, and whether that's going to be a future problem.
It's always a problem. It's always a problem. Get rid of the problem. Need to get rid of the problem.
If I may, perhaps we should end up going for a walk. Clear our heads in the cool night air.
She's gonna stake us. She's gonna stab us. She's gonna eat us. That's all she needs to get us alone.
Pax takes a quick glance around. Specifically, she's looking for Mr. Douglas And
He's on the ground floor doing something.
Reading books.
Yeah. Went back to reading. He's plotting something. Behind that book,
She
he's plotting
seems-
something.
she seems to hesitate for a moment. Sure. Yeah, sure. Let's go for a walk.
Out. Home. Somewhere else. Not here. Not anywhere. The boss. Is the boss safe? Where is he right now? Is he safe?
There's this moment where she doesn't seem to be concentrating properly. She's distracted, her eyes are ticking all over the place. But she does appear to be trying to focus.
Yvette will place her case down on the table, pull out, and it's very clear that Mademoiselle Cosetta is not well. Like her eyes are flickering, correct?
Yeah, she's not really hiding it.
In a trapped prey kind of a way. You've seen that look before.
Most certainement. I remove the Glock, remove the magazine, rack the slide to catch the single round in the chamber, being sure that the safety is on, and I am sure to keep the case locked and in primary view, so it is easy that others can see it. Mademoiselle Yvette is unarmed, and without her blazers, her tube top does not allow much to be hidden. She starts to open the door for Mademoiselle Cosetta and bows a small amount to allow her exit at her discretion.
As Pax leaves, she kind of keeps her back slightly towards the door frame. And she keeps Yvette in view as they leave the house.
They're all a threat. Every single last one of them.
I really wish this voice would fucking shut up right now.
Does Mademoiselle Pax say that out loud?
Yes.
Mademoiselle Pax.
What
You
can I do?
understand? If you were to take a gander in the room that Alistair has made for himself, him and Deja are currently cleaning it. I have placed a small note. That note was placed there for Monsieur Knight's eyes only. But if you were to read it, it is of little consequence to me at this moment. Understand? If Alastair, if anything were to happen to... She looks down at her wedding ring. I will hold Monsieur Knight directly responsible. And were that to end up happening, like will be responded with like. He seems to have me confused with someone who is not capable. She ends up looking over Mademoiselle Pax for a moment. He has tried to kill me. And it was little more than a nuisance and a waste of blood.
It's hard to put it into words, but I'll say what I said to Deja. From this point forward, I intend on handling Alistair as little more than a pup. Child who's groping around in the dark. He makes mistakes because he doesn't understand.
Mademoiselle Pax, if I may make a point. If I were intent on killing him, it would not undo the damage he has already done me. And if I were intent on killing him, why would I use a firearm in a small house in a neighborhood where the neighbors could hear it?
In the heat of the moment, that's not always obvious.
Have you known me to not have some form of plan in a heated moment? Have I ever allowed such things?
She always has plans. So many plans. Plans within plans. Too many.
You're an intelligent woman, Yvette. But Alistair, not so much.
I would argue Alistair's intelligence is beyond question.
You know what I mean. He's smart, but he's not smart.
But I also understand your hesitation. You have your pistol on you, oui, Mademoiselle Cosetta?
Yes. Always.
Draw it.
Excuse me?
Remove it from its holster and place it to my head.
Why?
Because either you do trust in my intent and my capability, or you do not. If you do not, I'd rather end up it being you than my sire. Because you are one of the few in this city who at least I can take the measure of. There is no, how do you Americans say it, bullshit. So you either trust me, in which case you have no reason to end up continuing this conversation along this course, or you do not, in which case I am unarmed, alone, and it would take little more than the pull of a trigger and a walk in a way using what gifts the blood has granted you to move on.
Pax seems torn for a moment. For a moment, she brings her hand up to her head. She starts pulling at her own hair. It's almost like she can't decide. She literally physically cannot bring herself to decide.
And then Yvette will decide for her. Yvette, looking at Mademoiselle Pax, simply utters, "Draw."
No.
Oh, Sorry. Nope. Sorry. I
She's
screwed up
doing
the
a
roll.
compel, and so
No,
you
nope. Screwed up the roll. That was cloud memory. I'm using mesmerize. You will draw
Mesmerize.
your gun and place it to my head. That's mesmerize.
Yep, you have to roll a resist roll, which is
Fuck.
intelligence and intelligence and what else for the verses?
The intelligence and resolve, if I recall.
Intelligence resolve. Okay.
And I get a little bit hungry.
That little nagging voice is back, Yvette. Wow.
It's almost like for a moment the beast wins over. That paranoia paired with the mesmerize from Yvette, she's not standing against it.
Your hand, as if on autopilot, draws the weapon and points it at Yvette's head, just as she commanded, as if you were on autopilot. But there it is, the revolver against her head.
Yvette leans her head upon the barrel, looking Mademoiselle Cosetta in the eye.
Now, to be clear, the command was just to put the gun against Yvette's head.
Yvette will not end up making her make the decision to pull the trigger. That must be Mademoiselle Cosetta.
Mm-mm.
Pax. There's this moment where she presses the gun deeper for a second. And her hand trembles slightly.
Threat. 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 Run.
She lowers the gun, takes several steps back, and she just starts to bolt.
Starts to bolt or starts to ball?
Bolt.
She's running.
Run. She just takes off.
Just down the street. Gun still in hand.
Yvette looks with a bit of sympathy to Mademoiselle Cosetta. But Mademoiselle Cosetta has made her choice. It must be difficult to be in the mind of a Malkavian. But in the end, Mademoiselle's actions have said more than her words ever could. This is the dance that Cosetta and LaCroix do. I wonder how many nights we can do this. Pauvre Pax. Pauvre Pax. Yvette looks to the night sky. It's all coming according to plan.
Alistair, you have finished sweeping up the glass and some of the bits that are on the floor. You look over to your desk where you had a book lying open, but it is now closed, and it seems that there is a slight kind of edge of a card poking out the end of it.
Curious.
You know you didn't leave it there.
I would investigate it.
You open up the book, and Yvette, what does the message say on the card?
Monsieur Knight, you would definitely recognize the card as being one that Yvette carries her name upon it. The back of the card reads in very small print. Looks like a ballpoint pen. Monsieur Knight, I would wish that you burn this card or dispose of this card after reading. This is warning that the Nosferatu of this city believe that you are involved in the creation of something called a chantry. This rumor has been put towards and has had the eyes of the Nosferatu placed upon you. It is expected that you are involved in some form of conspiracy. Whether this is true or not is of no consequence to me. However, this is the warning I offer you. Consider it a gift. Signed, Y.
I'm sure Alistair can put two and two together. There's only one person he knows, personally, with a Y in her name.
Yes. I'll just sit there and, like, tapping the card against his chin for a second. And he'll walk to the bathroom, tear up the card, and flush it down the toilet.
What are the thoughts going through your mind, Mr. Knight?
At the moment, I'm wondering if Miss LaCroix has been diagnosed bipolar, because the shift in tone from one moment to the next is giving me whiplash. One moment she implies that she killed my family, and now she is giving me warning of something that could craft my doom. Someone who wished it could have kept that close to the chest.
And yet she made sure that you were aware that that is a rumor spread by the rumor mongers of the city. Question is, does she truly want me dead? And I think that is where we're going to end the session for tonight.
Isa, what a fucking roller coaster.
Oh, man.
Also, I have to give a quick shout out to Maddie Morgs and the Hero Zone for coming in with a raid of 90 people. 90 people at the time that they
Jesus.
raided. And I still have several people in here. So, before we move into anything else, hi, I'm CoffeeCat. In case you hadn't been aware of the channel, I do art, I do VtM, which is here. This is Austin by Starlight, and I also do D&D on Thursdays, which is Rebirth, AD&D Tale. So yeah, I definitely have to shout out Maddie for that because my mod is not here today. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming over. You have chat poll. I want the Twitch chat. But yeah, definitely give if you don't follow Maddie, definitely. Oh well, if you shouted him out, I shouted him out again. You know, best mod on Twitch, Black Wolf, hands down.
I'm right.
Yep. But thank you guys so much for coming over. We still have, a good remainder of you still here. So if you missed tonight's episode or any episode previously, exclamation point YouTube, and that will send you to my YouTube link, or exclamation point. I forget the command for the Austin VODs, but bit.ly/Austin VODs. That is the short link for the playlist. So definitely give us a subscribe on YouTube because we're very close to 100 subscribers. And if I get a personalized URL, I get CoffeeCat Presents as my official tag on YouTube. So get it, subscribe. I'll put the command in here.
Subscribe. All hail the Hypnotoad.
Subscribe. Yes.
Don't get it.
But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. This is our 4th VtM campaign on this channel. So yeah, this is a thing that I've been doing for a long time now. So for those who don't already follow and or subscribe to my channel, I gifted out some subs because you guys came in with 90 people. I figured it only fair. So there you go. You have some subs. And so yeah, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. And audience favorite vote is at the top of the chat box, so we have that poll going. So while we are here at the end of the session with the mechanical end of session stuff to do, who recovered any willpower today?
Nope.
Gregor?
Moi.
Yvette? Beautiful.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. Technically, did I? No. Shit. Never mind.
Did you what?
My desire was repay Yvette's boon. I don't think I've done that yet. Have I?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
You
still
offered to help her with hunting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You ended up skipping out on that today.
Well, she asked if... He asked if she... No?
No.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wah, wah.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Like I said, I trust you.
Okay. Well, I'll figure it out.
Yep.
Never mind.
Man, I'm
Alright.
still just getting over the fact that Yvette put Pax into such a corner that she was either gonna shoot her in the head or run away. Like,
It's all, well, there's implications there, but it had to be known.
Yep.
And now, very much, Pax is in a position where you can't come back from that point.
yeah.
You had your opportunity.
Here's the question though: what would you have done if she had pulled the trigger?
Well,
Suffered aggravated damage. No, superficial damage, actually.
Fortitude is a hell of a thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Probably suffered some
But,
superficial damage, but that's about it.
Yeah,
There's
probably got a
also this
little
whole-
pissed off.
I think the more important thing is if you did that at point blank, what would probably more likely happen is the gun would backfire. You're plugging the barrel with concrete.
She has skin like concrete. But,
Yeah.
And I don't think you.
That's what we call fragmentation.
I think it's more the intent behind it though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's meant to be a show of some kind. What kind, we'll find out probably later on in the sessions. But we do have stains to issue.
Ooh.
For Miss Yvette LaCroix.
Yep.
It's 2 for the frenzied murder. You didn't intend to. And 1
And one more for
lost
breaking my own
control.
conviction.
Yep. For you lost control over your own self.
Oh, from last session.
No, from this session.
This session?
Yep.
Yep.
She has
Oh,
she actually
Frenzy.
broke a conviction
frenzied.
in that.
Frenzy
In that
counts as a conviction break for her.
dang. I
None-
should have gone hunting with you.
So she has a remorse check with only 1 die,
Shit.
and she loses her first humanity.
Derek, you should have reminded me. That was actually a player mistake, I promise.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. But hey, I told you I'll play it out and respect you in that same level, right? And you and me are finally at that point where we're playing on that same level, so we're gonna play it up.
Oh, okay.
All right. I don't feel bad about it. Like I said, I told the same thing to the fat guy, right? Like, don't feel bad on the fact that, because of you throwing Yvette under the bus to succeed at a cost, that's a bad thing. I feel great about that. Like it's all
Yep.
good. But that is Yvette's first humanity loss. She doesn't she looks at that and goes, that blood is on Alistair's hands. He's the one that drove her to frenzy.
Ooh,
killed
that
that
does
man.
bring up something about Mr. Alistair's convictions, too. Always aid women in need. I don't know how much Yvette is in need, per se, but I think that's something to point out, is that technically she qualifies as a woman.
Well, technically she qualifies as a corpse.
A female corpse. I'm gonna say that female vampires are indeed women.
Still a female.
Yeah,
I swear that's such a line.
they are indeed. They are still indeed women. So.
It was.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how much he cares about her, but see no harm that people care about. There's.
Hey Specs, if you're trying to talk, you're muted.
Yeah?
I
Oh, I thought you
not.
were.
No.
I'm just kind of fishing through convictions because I forget your convictions all the time.
I actually think I have one.
Oh.
Never reveal your secrets, stay hidden.
Ah,
Oh.
Pax dragged it out of me.
Yep, that is true. My friend, take a stain for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Plonk.
I need to draw Pax
And roll
sitting
remorse.
in Gregor's lap.
Yes, do it.
I need to draw this.
Do it.
Apparently, I also need to draw a shower scene.
Yes.
Or didn't happen.
Guilty shall suffer. That's a tricky one. I don't know who in their right mind is guilty here.
Right mind? What is that?
Huh?
I prefer the left mind, honestly.
Ah, yes.
I mean, Gregor was kind of guilty. But she kind of did punish him a little bit by literally dragging it out of him.
Yeah, she did. So she's already kind of she took care of that particular portion. Because suffer can mean a lot of different things. It could be suffer embarrassment. It could be suffer pain. It could be suffer humiliation.
Gregor is a task Nosferatu, not a lying Nosferatu.
It's true.
Yep.
It's true. Roll remorse, Mr. Douglas, for your one stain.
Plonk.
Bonk.
Oh,
What's that?
Specs,
Yeah.
while you do that, I'm gonna just message you a thought that might help you out a bit.
Okay. The remorse dice is what's in between what's left of humanity and the
Yep.
stain, right?
That's how many you have. Yep. The empty boxes.
Plonk.
You maintain your humanity. You feel awful. You are trusted with secrets. You are a Nosferatu. You are a man who acquires secrets as part of your clan's sort of job in a way. And you drop the ball. And you're kind of beating yourself up over it.
It is a gentleman's duty to remain quiet in these circumstances. And I was not a gentleman.
Nope. Sadly not. But that concludes the stains portion of the of this here, which moves us on to experience, which the audience vote is actually finishing up here pretty soon. So, and it looks like it's going to Yvette for audience vote, but everybody who shows up to the table gets one as their show up prize. Woo.
Solution prizes. I wouldn't have any fucking XP without them.
Oh no. But yeah, Yvette, you get the audience favorite vote. So then we decide, much like Derek does with his games on his channel, the players decide who had the best scene, who moved our plot the furthest, and who had our best line for the night. So plot mover is who?
Gregor.
I'll go Gregor.
Yeah.
For starting drama.
Sometimes you gotta do it, right?
That
I'm a
heckin'
mighty
plot
big
mode.
fan, and you just hefted a big bucket of shit into it.
And Yvette does what Yvette does. Steps to the side of the fan.
Yep.
I see
Gregor.
this coming.
Gregor gets the shit hits the fan experience. I'm going to call it that.
I'll take it.
Best scene.
Ooh, that is a tough one.
And Nos, a shit disturber? Never. Selds, you have not met Gregor or Jojo.
Go.
Oh god.
Fucking
Fucking Jojo.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
The biggest shit disturber was Jojo.
I'm a mixed opinion here because the big one I absolutely loved.
Oh yeah, Black Wolf, you forgot to add Mojo to that, but you know.
I'm no worries.
Okay, we won't worry about it then.
No.
I still love your face.
And I'll love the rest of them. It's okay.
Yes.
You can have it.
It's fine. We were talking about best scene though.
Best scene, I think we gotta end up giving that to. I want to end up giving that to Alistair. With Alistair's conversation with Pax, those are never dull.
Ooh.
But I also want to end up giving it to Gregor and Pax. Either way, it falls on. So I'm gonna have to say Pax.
Ooh.
Pax was involved in all three scenes. I would end up saying would be the highlight. The only thing that changes is who Pax was interacting with.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd have to
with that.
agree. I like the one with me and Pax, but Pax was a vein throughout the whole episode.
It is true. That is true. Pax
I was gonna
is.
vote for myself as well because I just enjoyed those scenes. They were
Fucking
so
unanimous.
much fun to play through.
Fucking
Pax
unanimous.
is our rock. Pax is our rock.
I loved the scene with Deja, I loved the scene with Alistair, and I loved the scene with Gregor. And I mean, I need to draw a picture of Pax
Yes.
sitting in Gregor. It's
Do
just
it.
a thing.
Do it. Mox, I love your art. Do it. We need more art for this channel. Come on. I can't do it all.
It's
Only
so
we
good.
had an artist in this game.
Hey, you have like
What are
four.
you talking about? There's 4 of them here.
4.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. Best line.
I'm gonna do Alistair. I wanted to take it, but I'm not gonna steal from Alistair this time.
I really
Ooh,
miss
for which
alcohol.
one?
I really miss alcohol. Everybody's like, that's a mood.
Ooh, I was a big fan of the one towards the end though.
What,
Where
it's
was
all going according to plan?
no, not for Yvette, for
Oh.
Alistair, towards the end. I forget the exact words, but it was
The one that I liked was when he was talking to Gregor, like whose truth are we talking about? For some reason, I like that line. But what were you thinking, Coffee?
the one you were saying towards the end of the show, because like I forget the words. I'm stupid with memory, but like I'll have to go back and listen to it because that was my favorite line from Alistair today. But my vote doesn't count. Nobody cares about what I think.
Oh,
It's all
the
about what.
bipolar one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I got to wonder if Yvette is diagnosed
Diagnosed
with bipolar
bipolar.
because I'm getting whiplash from her mood
Yes,
swings.
that kind of made me crack up.
Anybody who doesn't get it would certainly think that. Yeah, but I think Specs and Moxie and maybe I'm not 100% sure, but I think Mojo gets exactly what Yvette is doing. She is practicing what she preaches.
Hmm.
I think unanimous it's Alistair though, right?
Yeah.
Regardless
I get
of
the
what
Dana
line.
points.
You get the data points.
It's harder to do when I'm not playing sassy as fuck.
It's true. It's true. But you know what? It leaves a little room for some of your other cast members. But it's beautiful. I love it. I love this game. I love everything about it. You guys are great. So, now that we have finished up our XP, since our good friend Yvette LaCroix got our audience favorite for tonight, we can move on to some shout outs. So, Mr. Fat Guy, shill for Derek.
Shill for Derek? Okay. Well, if you haven't guessed, the bald bastard on your screen is the macabre Derek. He is he's a downright asshole that loves to draw horror and teach VtM and Mech Warrior. He also does commissions for a very fair price. He's currently having a sale on all horror themed art, which he
For
knocked off
October?
a
Yep.
good portion of his commission just to try to get some horror pieces out there because he doesn't get to draw them so much. He also streams video games from time to time. Every Sunday he runs his own Vampire the Masquerade game. Derek, what time is it at?
6:30 Central.
6:30 Central. Mondays he does 2 workshops, a VTM and a Mech Warrior, or not Mech Warrior,
Battletech.
Battletech. Thank you. I always want to call it Mech Warrior because that's what I'm used to. He does
Same
a
franchise.
workshop on both of them, and then Tuesday through Thursday he does Drawing on the Macabre, which he does commissions and or any kind of art that he deems that he wants to. It's always interesting to watch.
All right. Perfect. And now shill for yourself.
Show for myself.
Yes.
I am that fat guy. I am a fat nerd who plays games on the internet. Currently, what we have coming up on Friday is we are having a killer race in Dead by Daylight with Raven Star, a Desolate Fox, and Pandesu. I think that's the right number of pans. I don't know because his name is confusing. But we all rolled up that we have to play Pyramid Head this month, and we're doing a race to 30
Ooh.
kills.
Silent Hill. Nice.
Yes. So, other than that, check me out throughout the week. I don't have a set streaming schedule yet, but I'm trying to basically stream whenever I have free time.
A consistent
thank you
schedule goes a long way, and let's not build a joke about that. Consistent, and so that people can always be known when the thing is live. That people.
I usually
people know
try to
follow
go
you guys.
live at around 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern time. So you heard it here, folks. 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern is when That Fat Guy 3 goes live on Twitch. So go and give him a follow. So now it's time for me to show for myself. Hi.
Oh, you don't want me to show for you too?
I mean, you can. I'm not going to say no.
I'm amazed
Well, this-
I got skipped this entire time.
Okay, Derek, you show for coffee then.
No. Do you want to know what the hilarity is? Beginning with you, I'm gonna let this ride. I'm gonna let this
Okay.
ride. He's my ST. I gotta go according to his whims.
Okay, I will show for coffee. This is CoffeeCat Presents. He is a wonderful storyteller who does vampire and D&D content. He is also a grand artist. He does commissions as well. He streams art occasionally and games occasionally, though those aren't a set schedule anymore. If you ever need to reach out to him, he is always a wonderful person to talk to. He has a YouTube, which is or there is a YouTube command. It's not CoffeeCat Presents yet because he is currently trying to get to 100 subscribers and get his custom URL link.
Yep.
On there, you can find the VODs for any of his games that he has run in the past, which he is to run. This is his fourth campaign that he has
Fourth
run now.
VtM campaign, and I have
Yeah.
one D&D campaign on there now.
Yes. So if you ever need pretty drawings, he does some beautiful work.
I mean, I did most of the artwork for the characters.
Yes.
I did. Well, yeah, most. I say most because Gregor was done by the Spectre, but that's that's their art. My art is every other character for the player characters. So, which you can see, I do all of my own overlays and everything else, and I do all of that kind of stuff. I do emotes, Twitch overlays, I do character art, I do typographic design, you name it, I could probably do it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll give it a solid try. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, so if you ever need anything drawn, just talk to both of them, and between one of them, they will service your needs. I like how that sounded. I'm leaving it ride. I'm
Yep.
not even going to fucking change it.
You kind of you left it, and then you wrote it into the dirt.
Yep. I will plant that bitch into the ground and plant a flag above it.
Yep. Right. Exactly. Raven Star kinky. But yes, CoffeeCat Presents on all of your social media, even though I don't really post all that much on socials. I am on Twitch and on YouTube primarily, so CoffeeCat Presents on both of those. If you're watching on YouTube, I definitely understand, and I love you for the views that you give me, and thank you guys so much for being here on Twitch for the viewership. You guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you again, Maddie from the Hero Zone, coming in with 90 people, and I still have a good chunk of you guys still watching the end of this show for today. You haven't even watched the beginning, so go to YouTube and go watch the beginning when I post it, like tonight or tomorrow. So definitely be on the lookout for those. Tomorrow we're going to be doing more Rebirth detail, where my party, the Lucky Sevens, are diving deeper into an abandoned mine shaft. So
Catch us on there. Both Mojo and I are going to be on there. We're players there. I
Yeah.
play Rune, the Warforged.
Love it.
Mojo plays Lagon, the Goliath.
Storm Cleric, yep.
We're cool. We're cool.
We're
like,
awesome.
yeah.
It's D&D.
It's a great game. It's a great D&D game. It's so cool. Come
wrecked.
watch us.
Maddie says, "Get wrecked, scrub." Yes. Love you guys. You guys are great. Thank you all out there in the viewership land. You guys make this channel happen. The fact that you guys show up every week is just... I can't say much more than that. You guys are great. All the love. And so that does it for us here in the weird city of Austin. So, with that being said, good night, everyone.
Don't ever lie to me.
Something bipolar. Good night.